I've been a nurse for about 20 years. I worked a lot in internal medicine clinics, which is primarily focused on the elderly. And then the last year I've done home care, which is a lot with the elderly also. And I think that's always been a draw for me. It's just something especially with the dementia and Alzheimer's and understanding that, just something I'm very passionate about. I felt like in the clinic it was just, it's an important role, but I wanted to be out in the community more. I wanted to be out making more of a difference with people and making more of that connection. You know, in the clinics you need to keep that time schedule and the doctors coming in and stuff, whereas being in home care, it's really about where they're at and meeting them in their environment and where they're at, so you can see, okay, well that rug's not safe for them, or you know, kind of their family dynamics if they're in unsafe situations. So it's really just diving into their life and seeing what their world is around them, which when you're in a clinic you don't always get to see that. You just see them in your world, and it's very heartbreaking because a lot of times if they have the Alzheimer's or dementia, you're seeing a side of them that's not really them. It's not truly who they are. I mean, you could have the nicest, calmest person and they have Alzheimer's or dementia, and that personality can completely flip. So it's understanding that process and loving them for where they are in that process, and knowing it's still keeping your guard, because it can be very predictable. And I think in nursing, it all comes in your approach too. It's educating yourself on the process of dementia and Alzheimer's and what certain triggers may be, and how to approach and sometimes reapproach the patient. And there are some days that you come home and a lot of the energy that you have, you just gave at your job. And it's just coming home, and I think it's just being honest with the family and with friends, like, whoo, I just had a really tough day, let me just regroup. And it's really having to learn to take care of yourself. It's just a lot about kindness and compassion and not being so quick to judge people. That everybody has their story, everybody has their triggers. And especially working in the healthcare field, you need to know your own triggers, because you're going to come up against them. And you need to know that when that comes up, or there's a patient that's a really big trigger for you, whether it's entitlement or anything else, that it's how to handle that. You know, or if you have an elderly person who has not very supportive family or something, and that can be a trigger, that it's understanding that you don't know their background. You don't know the whole story, and that you just approach each person with love and compassion. Because sometimes I think, oh, I get to be a nurse and I just get to help people and it's great and I'll always have warm fuzzies, and it's not the case. You have to be able to have a thick skin also. And people aren't always going to be happy with you, and people aren't always going to be, there are going to be some people that you can't, no matter how hard you try, you can't help, because it's still up to the patient. And there are going to be those heartbreaking stories, and there are going to be times that you have to keep your boundaries up, that you really have to toe the line, that you just need to be aware of that stuff, but never allow that to harden you. That was probably the hardest one for me, is that I couldn't help everybody, and I didn't have this magical thing to make anyone feel better. The patients with dementia who are crying up and down the hallway, I can love them for who they are, but I'm not gonna be able to take that away. I can give them good moments, but I can't take it away. And I can't take away the pain for the family, but, oh, it makes me teary. But I can love them.